Yo, everyday superpower. We talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. I'm going to drop some game on you right now. Real common one as far as the outside world looking into body language. I've heard that when somebody itches their nose, it means they're lying. Is this the truth? Let's find out. So, itching of the nose, I think, is like the folding of the arms across the chest. It is a popular behavior as far as body language is concerned. People don't tend to educate themselves or go into the depths of learning how to read people through their body language, but what they do know is that supposedly itching your nose indicates that you're lying, and crossing your arms over your chest shows you're defensive, blah de blah. Not wrong as far as the arms over the chest, but we're going to go into the itching of the nose, right? So first, if you're speaking to someone and you see them itch their nose after saying something or during saying something, I want you to pay attention to the intensity of the scratch, okay? Because there's a difference between a rubbing of the nose, a touching of the nose, a simple light brush of the nose, and an actual itch, something that's indicative of something that needs to be itched, if you know where I'm coming from. There's two separate behaviors. The one that is the automatic response, the subconscious response, irrelevant of an actual itch, is the slight brush as opposed to the proper dig, you know. Not only that, but the one that we're speaking of, the lighter brush, will happen straight away, generally speaking, as opposed to like a little bit more out of the norm, timing wise. It'll happen in real time, in association and in alignment with what's been said or what's been heard or so on and so forth. Right, cool. When we are under stress, yes, there's a chemical that is released. There's multiple chemicals that are released. One of them actually engorge the blood cells in the end of the nose, creating an itch, creating something that just needs to be brushed off. So it's not a means of somebody like thinking, oh shit, I've lied, I best itch my nose. There will be a genuine itch to that individual. There will be a genuine itch. And considering I didn't break this down, the itching of the nose, yeah, it can be indicative of somebody saying something they know is wrong. Okay? So, not necessarily purely lying and being deceitful, but you can see this behavior manifest when somebody says something they might not have needed to. They might have gone too far. They might have said something they said they wouldn't say, or so on and so forth, right? And why this is because they've said it verbally, but their brain is saying, shit. Their brain is telling them to stop. So the hand comes up and symbolically covers the mouth, albeit touches the nose, right? It's a whole multitude of different factors that come into play with this relatively simple, gesture is manifest into the world. So the blood flow rushes to the nose, which is where Pinocchio derives from, right? When Pinocchio lies, his nose grows. It's the exact same thing. There's your capillaries in the nose expand, creates an itch. The person feels the need to itch that nose. And aside from that, when we're kids, such as I did the video I did prior to this was in relation to somebody saying no with their head while saying yes verbally, yes. It's non-congruent and it derives from childhood. The turning of the head to say no to the mother's tea or to the bottle in relation to turning down food prior to us being verbal. It's rooted as deep as that. This behavior can be rooted as deep as that when you take into consideration children are very literal when they're younger. They will cover their mouths, conceal their mouths when they say something they shouldn't. They'll do that, right? We still have them autonomous, automatic behaviors when we are older, but we just learn to hide them and disguise them a bit better. So we say something we don't mean to say, our hand comes up, suddenly we think, oh shit, we're not a kid no more, we can't act that obvious. And we itch the nose, symbolically covering the mouth in the meantime. Have you seen how this works? So there's so many factors involved, right? There's a genuine itch, but at the same point, there's a need to cover the mouth. Because even though they've said one thing, in their mind, they think, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. So they've got to shut it off in real time, and their body shows you that act as it happens. What more needs to be said in regards to this? I mean, generally speaking, it's just a showcase of discomfort. And when we feel under pressure or under some degree of discomfort, what we will do is pacify ourselves with self-touching behaviors. Don't matter where it is, if we are touching ourselves one way or another, it releases feel-good hormones to the brain, feel-good chemicals, which fight off the threat response, meets them halfway, because we're covered in nerve endings, and the stimulation of such makes us feel a little better. Maybe the way we behave and the way we touch ourselves is regressive to where we were touched or how we were touched when we were kids behave. And that's it. The self-touch releases feel-good hormones, fights against the literal itch we are feeling momentarily due to the expansion of the nose, and covers up the mouth at the same time. So it's above and beyond one particular reason. There's a multitude of different ideas that come into play. You just have to acknowledge when this is put forth in communication, and you have to understand why. And one thing to take into consideration as well is you might see this behavior as you are speaking. That's them saying, if I were in your shoes, I'd stop talking now, right? So that's their mirror neurons kicking in and saying, I am feeling empathetic to that person before me. I'm listening to what they're saying, and they're saying too much. And they will, cover up their mouth, itch their nose, even though they're not speaking at all. When you're looking at them and you see this, that's when you should back off what you're saying and allow them to speak. That's some game. Click like and subscribe. Peace.